The historical and geographical events of all of the history in Andalusia, as well as the flows of cultures and religions, have influenced the current Andalusian culture. Different civilizations have passed through Andalusia, and over time, they have contributed unique characteristics to the inhabitants and their customs. The arrival of the Orientals in the Asian Age, the Romanization, the Islamic period, and the Christianization have formed the Andalusian identity of today. So, my name is Álvaro, and today I'm going to talk about the gastronomy of this community, our typical dishes and their origin, and to conclude, my personal opinion about why I've chosen to speak about Andalusian gastronomy. Andalusia has very rich and varied gastronomy, with difference between the coast and the interior. It's, it's part of the Mediterranean diet and is closely linked to the use of olive oil, nuts, fish, and meats. One of the dishes that represent our community is the traditional Andalusian breakfast, which mainly consists of a piece of bread with olive oil. You may also add garlic, salt, or sugar. It's also quite common to accompany it with tomato or ham. Some of the food and dishes we can find in our culture are the olive oil, which arrived in the Spain with the Phoenicians around 1050 before Christ, but it was actually the Romans who filled in the Iberian Peninsula with olive trees, making it one of the main exporters of olive oil. Gazpacho, which is a drink made of olive oil, vinegar, water, and raw vegetables, and the origin is uncertain, although it has been considered a dish from the interior of Andalusia. Next is Salmorejo, which is a traditional cream of Cordoba, Andalusia, which is made by crushing breadcrumbs with garlic, olive oil, salt, and tomatoes. And its possible origin dates back to the 19th century and it corresponds to a humble dish. Continues with the migas, that are a culinary preparation made mainly with bits of bread crumbs with minced meat and vegetables. Its origin dates from the time of the Arabic invasion in the peninsula with previous influence of the Roman Empire. Next is the alfajor, which is a sweet pastry typical of Andalusia cuisine, and it's usually made from a paste of almonds, walnuts, and honey. The presence of these sweets became clear during the 12th and 13th century, and it's been made since the times of Al-Andalus. And finally, the tocino de cielo, which is a compact dessert based on egg yolk and sugar, with an intense yellow color. Traditionally, it's placed originally in Jerez more than 500 years ago. Its name is due to its appearance, texture, and religious origin. All these dishes, and the many that I haven't named, make up a part of the Andalusian and Spanish gastronomy. This gastronomy is so relevant for several reasons. The first one is because it's part of or based on the Mediterranean diet, considered one of the best in the world. It's famous internationally, attracting many tourists due to its variety and historical value. And finally, because it's, as I mentioned at the beginning, a part of the Andalusian identity, part of the Andalusian symbols of our land. I have chosen this topic for all reasons I mentioned earlier, and personally, I think that we are facing a community with a very varied and rich gastronomy for its history, and that we are lucky to live and, or rather, to be from such a unique place.